last meeting?
It was 2 weeks ago.
Yes, 31 May. It's because it's month, day, year in the meeting notes. It would be better, I think, if it was year, month, day, because as the way I see the files. So I have a lot of months repeatedly.
Yeah, I see you keep changing them. It's okay though. We just have to stick to a convention.
Yeah, I always prefer the ISO year, month, day.
Yeah,
because that's
Easier to
international.
listen.
right. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
cool with that.
I always have developers in Europe trying to do like day, month, year, and that always confuses the hell out of our American users.
Yep.
Brazil is day, month, year too.
I think it's pretty much anywhere except for the US, which is weird.
Much like a lot of things.
Yeah. Metric system, what the hell's that?
Yeah. No thanks.
Do you guys
We're
know
live on
that?
YouTube.
Yeah.
File.
Hi, people.
Computer file, a YouTube channel.
So
I was watching a video that he was talking about the metrics about date all over the place and how headache is to build. For example, I didn't know that, but there is some countries that jump from the 28th, December 28th to 1st January. So how can you build you can build a system based on dates that you need to consider all the variables for all countries, all that stuff, you know. So be thankful to some people that already did this, and they build a community and open source library so you can use it.
Yeah, there's Moment.js. I usually use
that's what I use.
Anyways.
Interesting. There's kind of like a backlash against Moment because it got really big, and then now people want to use smaller date functions for whatever. I just always need to use Moment for time zones because time zones are the devil.
They are.
Yes. Oh, I would like to ask one simple question. How do you generate this? I did manually, but how do you generate the time zone that to open issue? So you can have United States Pacific, Mountain, Central, you know, that I used to create the issue mentorship meeting today.
Yeah, honestly, I just copy pasted from old meetings because it's always the same time. I just update the calendar Friday 14th, for example, but the date is the same.
I thought that you had a site, a homepage that's already built this.
There is actually. It was created by Rich Trott, I believe, someone from the Node.js TSC member and community committee. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But there is a tool, but we don't use it at the moment. We tried, and it was a little bit complicated, so no one just got back to it. But it should automatically generate the issues for the meetings as well.
Okay.
So hello, everyone. Hello to everyone joining us on YouTube.
Hi, guys.
So we did start the match process last week. We announced that the form is open. We had it opened another week before that. We announced it on the Slack channel. And yesterday we did. On June 10th, we did close the application form. And yesterday I did send the list of mentees, the applied mentees to each mentor. And I did send them an email and I told them that we're expecting to get like their top 3 to 5 choices from like the mentees that applied for their topic by the end of next week, so June 20th. So this is like a general status update on what's going on.
Sounds like we're moving along.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. After we start, so let me open the email. So Matteo, one of the mentors, mentoring about streams, he mentioned a couple of suggestions for the next cohorts. Basically, the list he got was huge, like around 200 mentees. So it was really hard for him to choose.
Filter.
Yeah. So he suggested to cap the number of people who can like apply to each mentor to 30 to 50 mentees, which I believe is a good suggestion because at the moment it's not really fair. So he's probably gonna miss like reading a few applications from this huge list. So if we cap it from the application at the beginning, I'm not sure if Google Forms has this option in the first place, but maybe we can have some like manual checking every few days whenever we open the next application, and just disable the checkbox for this mentor if they have more than like, let's say 50 applications. I think it's a good suggestion. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. He also mentioned, I think, listing the mentors' availability so that the mentees could self-select based on that. If they weren't going to be available when the mentor was, there's no need for them to choose that mentor.
Yeah, he did. This is the second suggestion as well. I think it makes sense. I feel that we like depended a lot on the mentors this round for filtering. So we had to do all the filtering in the last cohort, and this cohort we did like we just gave the filtering to the mentors.
Right.
Yeah, but the average is around 60 mentees, the average number of applicants per mentor. So 160 is not like the... In the form, each mentee had to choose their top 3 selections, and we had around 400 mentors applied, mentees applied. I also did, in the email that I sent to the mentors, I sent a suggestion about how to filter. So I don't know if it's accurate or it's the best way to go about it. But
it looked reasonable to me. I read it.
Yeah. So just to give context for everyone watching. So first, filtering based on the availability of like the mentor and the mentee based on what they applied, what they submitted in the form. Then the mentor will filter based on the experience level that they have in mind. So if a mentor needs someone that has entry-level experience about Node, or they already contributed, we have like these fields that they can filter on without reading any text. It's like pre-filled checkboxes. And after that, they can filter, they can sort based on whatever field they prefer, or just by the date, and they can start reading top to bottom, like every application, and they can check the GitHub link of the applicant and see if like this mentee sparks an interest, and they can move this to a curated list, and from that list they can choose their top 5 or top 3, depending. So I think it makes sense, but the larger the list is, the more unfair it gets, because you have to choose 3, and then we're gonna choose 1 from those 3. I read through the applications, like almost, like I just quickly skimmed over the applications, and there were lots of impressive applications, and I feel like it made me like proud of what we're doing because there's lots of people that are really interested in joining, and they have very nice background stories. Yeah, I think we should try to coordinate. Like after reading this, I also like feel much strongly about it that we should create this public mentorship, just like a session or two, just to bring more people like who will not be selected for this round. So for the updates, that's all that we have. I think we should start coordinating for the next cohort in the next meeting. This way we will have the mentorship round started, and hopefully we just like the only thing that I have to do after this is to announce that the matching finished, and it's going to happen between the meetings, so we're going to have to do it async on Slack. Basically, we're going to have to choose for each mentor one mentee, but I'm not sure how to go about that. Like, what do you suggest?
I'm not really sure. David, you got any ideas?
Oh, look at that. I was muted. Yeah, so the decision that we have to make is like how to take effectively the inputs from the mentor and then output a mentee. So what are we getting specifically from each mentor? Just a list of which mentee, like 3 mentees that they accept as mentees?
Yeah. For example, Stephen yesterday sent me 3 emails. So I have to go back to the list and search for the email address, and then we'll have the applicant full details of the applicant.
Okay. So, I mean, there's one scenario where like none of them overlap. Are they ordered? Like, does the mentor order like them in terms of preferences, or did they just give us 3?
He gave them the option to leave notes about them if they'd like, but I don't think we required that they order them in a specific way.
Okay. Well, so there's one. Let's just pretend that they did order them. There's a universe in which they all select different mentees, which, you know, is not out of the realm of possibility with so many mentees. And in that case, our job is done. We just pick the top one from each mentor. In the case that there are mentors that choose the same one, I guess there's a worst case scenario that I don't think is possible. But the worst case scenario is that all the mentors all have the same top choice. And so in that scenario, I think there's, you know, I guess a naive approach, which is you just randomize the list of mentors, and then each one you like kind of flip a coin to see like what they get, more or less, or some other random selection algorithm. And then on the other side, you look at all the mentors, and then you look at the mentees that they choose, and then we try and, I guess, for each contested mentee, we decide who the best mentor is, right? And then just go down the list that way.
Do you already have a criteria to choose between those 3 selected mentees? To choose the which one will be aligned with the mentor?
No, I don't think so.
No, but I think we have to, like, whenever we have this list, we want to make sure that it's diverse enough and there's different levels of experiences and like people coming from different backgrounds, and it's representative of the diverse community that we have in Node. So I think we have to consciously like play that part in choosing the mentor, like in the overall picture of the mentees in the program. We should like keep that in mind. So it's not going to be completely random. Like it's not going to be the project unless
okay.
it
So
is like,
so if that so if that's the case, then probably the algorithm is to take all of the mentees that have been selected by mentors, put them in a list. So now we're going to have at most 30 mentees, right? If all top threes are unique.
Right. No overlap. Yeah.
So at most 30 mentees, those go in a list, and then we choose 10 that the math on this may not work out, but let's roll with it for a second. We choose 10 mentees from that list that we think is representative of what we want in the program. And then we iterate down that 10 mentee list, and then for each mentee on that list, we see, okay, who are the eligible mentors, basically which mentors had that mentee on the list, and then we assign it and then move on down. I think there is a scenario where the math on this doesn't quite work because of overlap.
I think it can be, reiterative. What's the word I'm looking for? I should know this. I'm a programmer. Anyway, we can go back through the list once it if there's one that's left over that didn't fit, we can go back and.
Yeah, because I think the trouble that we get into is of the 30.
Recursive.
So I think the trouble is if we choose 10 mentees and those happen to be 9 of those 10 have to be, it just happened to be from 3 of the mentors lists.
Right. So then we can go back to the original list. But I think with 400 applied, we'd probably get most of those would not be overlapping. Right. So we'd probably just have to go back to the original list and find one more or 2 more.
Yeah, because the mentees mentees couldn't really apply to all mentors, right?
Right. And did we send the mentors the list in the same order? Okay, so they probably all started at the top, so there's a somewhat larger chance that there'll be some overlap. But yeah.
I did filter it. I did remove everyone that did not agree on the terms of code of conduct, and I did filter that they did select the topic for each mentor.
Oh, okay. How many were there that did not accept the?
I was gonna check. I don't think there's any. I think the field is required in the first place.
Okay.
I just did the filtering.
Okay,
anyways.
That's why I was like, wow, that's interesting that people would refuse that.
Yeah, maybe we should bring those to the meeting.
It was probably by mistake. They didn't see.
You did not agree to the terms and conditions?
No, I did. I think that those people who didn't agree was by mistake, because who in your conscious mind would apply to a mentor or mentorship program and wouldn't check the agreement,
Yeah.
It's most likely that most of the people didn't read the agreement but checked the box,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think the field is required in the first place, so you cannot submit without agreeing on it. But this is what I did, at least. I did create a Google, a document for a Google sheet for each mentor and shared it with them. So there's different sheets for each mentor.
How was that list ordered? Was that in order that they applied, like the earliest application first?
Yeah, by application date, when they submitted the application.
Okay.
Which is a good thing, I guess, because we want to prioritize people who applied earlier because we did promote mentorship on Slack channel first. And
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Should we check who is on Slack channel to prioritize or not?
We just announced it first in the Slack channel so that they would have time to apply before other people knew about the application form.
So you're gonna prioritize who submitted first, right?
They were towards the top of the list that the mentors received. I don't know that we instructed the mentors to give them priority.
Subtle priority.
Yeah. I don't think it makes sense to tell the mentors to prioritize which channel mentees applied from. So just sorting it out, and this is something we can actually look at when we want to choose the mentees from the mentors list. We can make sure that at least some of the mentees are from the Slack channel, but I'm not sure about that as well. Maybe it doesn't make sense to try to enforce that. Yeah, I think we'll have to wait for the end of this week. And so it's going to be next Thursday. And yeah, we can decide from what we get. Like,
did you give a deadline to mentors? Oh, it's next Thursday.
Yeah, it's on June 20th. I already got one curated list from Stephen Bellinger. He's mentoring about diagnostics, and Matteo was already starting to battle with the list, but he did not provide anything yet.
So there's probably no point at looking at any of the lists until we have them all, right?
Yeah. We don't have anything else for the agenda. We don't, like, the agenda is empty.
Out of curiosity, have we received like any correspondence or confirmation from all 10 mentors to know for sure that they're all still engaged?
I did talk with everyone and not just send an email like.
Okay, you had received a response from all of them?
Yeah, I did tell them that we're gonna close the applications on June 10th and I will send the list by then. I did not check that everyone received the list. And actually Ben reached out to me and told me that he did not get the list. So I think I sent it to his old email address or something. But I should double check that everyone got it.
Yeah, just if we get a like explicit response from everyone, just to make sure we don't end up on the deadline and somebody just not have any correspondence from one of the mentors. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. I will do that probably tomorrow during the week.
Just to make sure, I believe you have all the mentors on this Slack channel, right? Because so we can, because I always look at the channel and I see you updating, and sometimes you update something we didn't discuss it here yet. So I believe all the mentors could read the Slack channel to get the updates, and I don't know, to be, because I don't think it's any news that we are gonna select the top three mentees unless the mentors are not looking at the YouTube or the channel, right?
Yeah. So I'm not sure if all the mentors are on Slack. Most of them are, and we have a private channel for mentors. It's Node.js_mentors, and yeah, some of the mentors, like I can see, some of the mentors are not on this channel. Like not everyone is active on the Slack channel, but I do communicate with them over Twitter and Gmail. So they're always up to date with WhatsApp, or almost up to date with what's happening if they're not on Slack.
In the future, we may want to require that they join the Slack channel as we get more and more mentors so that you're not having to email so many people separately.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do that anyways, because I do CC the ComCom as well, so they can know what's happening. And not everyone is, we have an attendee, Danny. Not everyone is active on Slack. Like we can expect them to have an account on the Slack channel, but especially for the updates, I don't think it makes sense to expect them to be available and read everything that we send. And during the cohort, Slack is not a requirement as well.
Okay.
We have a guest. Welcome, Danny Suarez.
Welcome, Danny. You're muted, by the way. Oh, there you go.
Guys, thank you.
Hello. Yeah, so I guess that's all for this meeting.
Danny, did you have anything you wanted to bring up in the meeting?
Yeah, well, I just have a couple of questions. I want to be a mentee, so I was wondering if there's some attributes that mentees need to have to be accepted as mentee.
Yeah, that's a good question. So on the main repo and the Node.js/mentorship, we do list what we expect, and none of them are like hard, like
technical requirements.
Yeah, it's just that what we expect from the mentee, that they're like on top of what they're doing, and they're the ones that driving the mentorship, like driving the mentor to help them with what they want to achieve, instead of the mentor like pushing things forward. And things that we did not like officially say in the repo, but we do look for, and it's written in the application form as well. We're looking for people who are willing to contribute back to the community. This is what we as a mentorship team like look for when we want to filter the mentees. So we want people who are willing to like write blog posts or share what they're doing during the mentorship. The main reason is that we have 10 mentors for this round, for example, and we have many more applied mentees. So this gives like a wider impact for the mentorship program to the community in general.
Okay, well, that answered all of my questions, so thank you very much.
Perfect. Yeah, also there's so for this cohort, we went with giving the list of mentees to each mentor, and the mentor filters based on their own preferences. So some mentors prefer like people who don't have any experience with Node, like they want freshly graduates or like newcomers to the Node ecosystem, and some want like more experienced people. So it depends on the mentor. So there's like mentor filtering as well, because there's so many applications. So we need to have some filters as well for the mentors.
Do you think it might be a good idea to make that a hard requirement about the giving back to the community? Make sure that they have a plan in place, even if it's just recording a video and putting on their personal YouTube account, because that would at least filter out a lot of the choices, which is one problem we're still having, is too large of a group of mentees per mentor.
If you are gonna use these criteria like the give back to community feeling, should we check the background of the mentees, see if they have posted on Medium, I don't know, to see how they are aligned with the purpose to give back, to contribute to the community itself? Right.
I guess in an ideal world, I would like to prioritize the people who could reach the biggest audience, but I don't feel like that would be fair to the mentees.
I have 50 Twitter
Yeah,
followers.
you got one more. Or no.
Oh yes, I have.
You followed me. So yeah,
Yes.
we're matched now. But yeah, so like I don't necessarily want to make it like a measuring thing. Just a yes or no. Like, are you willing to contribute in some way?
It could be both.
If
You
you're
could
not,
have a balance. We could have a score of how big the heart of the mentee want to give back, and how popularity he has. So you could have a to measure. You don't need to choose only one aspect. You could have both. And by the way, you could
that's true.
make a balance. Welcome,
yeah, that's a good point.
I'm sorry, Bemidel, welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
So yeah, what do you think? What are your thoughts on that, Ahmed or David?
I just want to say that in the form, we do have an open text field that says like, are you willing to contribute back to the community, like share your experience in mentorship? And if so, how do you think you're going to go about that? So I guess this gives a good measurement stick, because it also gives the opportunity for someone who already posted like on Medium. They can say, I already like write blog posts, and I'm willing to do this and this.
Right. I guess I'm just thinking of making it more concrete so that they know that it's required. Like making it like, can you make something pop up when they say no? Like a invalid message or something? Because something like note by checking no on this box, you're not going to be selected for the next round. Like because I don't see a problem later on, but for these first rounds where we only have a few mentors, it seems like it's more of a big deal to focus on people who are going to give back. Once we get to a point, or if we change the initiative in a way where we have, hundreds of people being mentored at a time, then it's not a big deal. But when we can only get 10 out of 400, I think we need to focus on outreach more.
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
So how is it presented right now? It's a pre-filled text box.
Yes, it's not required. It's just a question. It's just, hey, are you willing to give back? And if so, how would you do that?
Yeah, let me
share your experience. I think
isn't that easy enough to just automatically filter out the people who are clearly not like enthusiastic enough about it? To if someone says like sure, or like
right,
maybe.
I guess I was just trying to make it
easy enough to cut them.
Which I guess we could do by just putting it into README or something. I just want them to be aware of the fact that they're not going to get picked, rather than just hoping they get picked when there's no chance they're going to.
In the description text, I wrote, sharing knowledge is the essence of the mentorship program. Sharing your experience and knowledge about mentorship will help anyone in the community and those who did not get the opportunity to get matched this cohort. Resources may vary from videos, blog posts, issues. I think it makes sense to make it more explicit, to say that this is like an important filtering criteria.
Okay, yeah. I like what you've got so far. I didn't realize that was in there.
We did write it together in one of the meetings. So it's not me.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like the missing piece is just that the applicants don't know that it is filtering criteria.
Right, but if it's in the README, that's enough for me. I just want them to have some chance of knowing, or to do our due diligence, or have plausible deniability. One of those things.
Yeah, when we shared the link on Twitter and on Slack for the forum, I did write explicitly that we are looking for people who are willing to share.
All right, well, perfect.
Yeah,
we're already doing it.
But it makes sense to update the README.
Salo, can you put that in the notes, please?
Yes. So it's gonna be tweet and inform on the Slack channel that we are looking for. We are going to prioritize mentees that are willing to share the mentorship program, as sort of speaking.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
Bamidel, did you have any questions?
Yeah, so I was just wondering what medium it will be announced to the mentee when they are chosen. Is it email? Is it through the GitHub page?
Yeah, that's a good question. On the form, we have the GitHub URL and the email. I think it makes sense to do it by email first, and if they don't reply, we can try other methods. In the last cohort, I did send emails and no one replied, so I had to Google the name because we did not have GitHub handlers in the last cohort. So I had to Google the name, find their Twitter account, and contact them on Twitter, and they all replied on Twitter.
One more question, please. What if a mentee get matched with a mentor and there's a little bit of time problem there? Is it possible for the mentee to request to be matched with another mentor with a more suitable time for him?
The mentors should choose, I think the form had each mentee give their time availability. So the mentor should see that and be available during those times if they've chosen that person.
Yeah, I sent to the mentors that there should be at least 2 to 3 hours overlap between their availabilities, between the mentor and the mentee, just so they can coordinate meetings and stuff. And this is the case, I believe, in like most online communication, is that you have to assume most of it is asynchronous. So lots of the communication between the mentor and the mentee, by nature of having it online, is going to be sending an email and waiting for a reply, or on Slack or whatever.
Yeah, and we're not requiring the mentor and mentee to meet at a specific time. We're just trying to get a rough guideline of what your time availabilities are. But if you and your mentor need to work together to find a time outside of what you originally said, and you can find an hour here and there that works for each of you for the meetings, the live meetings, then that would be fine. So I don't think it'll be an issue.
Yeah, I think I think the mentors should, they will choose based on the time. It's one of the first things they're going to filter on. And as Matteo suggested, like you said, AJ, it would be also a good idea to show the mentees that are applying what is the working time for each mentor. This way, they can also choose a different mentor if they don't have. Because at the moment it's not really fair, because they might choose 3 mentors, but none of them have
right. So that's very important. So Salo, can you actually put that in the notes too, to make sure that we provide mentor availability on the form?
Okay, but I have a question about this. We already closed the form. We are talking about
next
the next
round
cohort.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Amadel, did you have any more questions?
No, I think that's fine.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us. And thank you, Danny, and all our usual people.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. So I guess that's it, if no one has anything else.
No, that's it for me.
Bamidel, could you write here your GitHub put in our mentorship note, please?
It's in the chat for Zoom.
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
Can you put your GitHub handle in the chat so we can mark you as present for the meeting?
All right.
Thank you.
All right. I think that's it.
Yep. So if you're available next week to check the Slack channel or anytime after that, just to filter the list.
Sorry, I had one more point I thought of during one of his first questions. When we finish choosing everyone, whether we email them or however we get in contact with the people who were chosen, we should also reiterate to the people who were not chosen that the round has been like we've chosen all our mentees and the round's closed for mentees.
Yeah, that's
it's a task, so I should put this on note to send an email to everyone that was not chosen in this round. Correct?
Yeah. Yes, please, because we always forget that.
So can I just confirm the topic notes on this meeting, please? Mentors must select the top 3 mentees until June 20. Next cohort, ask the mentors to join the Slack channel. Check mentees for popularity and give it back. They're willing to give it back to community.
Without the popularity part.
That's not okay. So I'm removing.
Well, he was saying what Salo had said was we could use that like we do with the other things, like get a good mixture. We could pick one person. If there's somebody who has a huge audience, we can give them one spot and then not do that for anybody else.
Sorry, sometimes I don't get the jokes. I take it seriously. Sorry. So continuing, tweet and inform on Slack channel that the program will prioritize mentees that are willing to share the experience. For the next cohort, put mentors' time zone availability and send an email to people that was not chosen on this round. I think that's all. Am I missing any note?
I believe that's all, but I just remembered another thing as well. So after the cohort, after we finish like choosing the list of mentees, I will contact Rachel. And yesterday in the ComCom meeting, she mentioned that it's a good idea to write a blog post about the mentors and mentees for this cohort after the matching is done. So I guess this is a good.
Okay, so it will be contact Rachel to the welcome meeting, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all.
Perfect.
And yeah, that brings up a good point that it's actually not even necessary that people have their own following. If they're just willing to write a blog post, we can share it under the Node account. So
yeah, this is what we did in the last cohort. We did share it on Twitter, and one of the blog posts was actually hosted on the Node Foundation.
Right. So maybe since we'll be making it a hard requirement now, we can give some examples of what we're looking for so people don't get deterred. Like, would you be willing to share, for example, a blog post or a video or something like that, instead of just, are you willing to give back? And they're like, I don't know, maybe. What do you want me to do? So.
Oh, this is cool. I get it. It's amazing, I think. To people that are, it could be a criteria. I don't know. It could be a checkpoint to see. Oh, those guys already. The mentorship didn't even get we didn't even get the started, and the people are just exciting. So we can see who's. Oh, I think it's amazing. Should I take note of this too?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, I agree. We should make it more explicit about the criteria. Also, on the last blog post about mentorship, I shared it on the Slack channel. I did add examples about what the last mentees shared in the last cohort.
You're always on top of things.
Yeah, but we should make it more explicit as well. Like we do actually have, let me show it in the chat. We do have this, in the mentorship repo, we have a file in the main the main code, we have a journal markdown file. So this is where we, like in the perfect world, this is where we keep track of everything for each cohort. So maybe it's a good idea to also add what the mentees shared. We do share the diary, the mentorship diary there, but not anything else.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Salo, can you capture that as well, please, to record what the mentees shared during the cohort in the journal?
Okay, so I should put this note in the journal, right?
Put in the notes that yes.
Okay, in the note, right? Okay, I just don't see where I could fit this in the journal file.
No, we're just saying when.
Okay.
We'll share links
Update.
in the journal file.
Mm-hmm.
So just note that we are going to put links in the journal file when mentees share things.
Yeah.
Too many notes.
Okay.
Note words.
I'll just use Google Translate to correct the notes I put here. But I think that's all. So update the journal, the links that the mentees shared. I will correct the grammar of that.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Thank you for your patience.
Oh, thank you. So I guess Saulo, so we did, we're almost running out of time. So but we did, so Saulo is currently creating the meeting issue on GitHub. And he's also taking meeting minutes. I think it makes sense if Saulo becomes a member in the...
I was going to say the same thing, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I obviously agree. David?
Sorry,
David
totally agree.
doesn't like
He said totally agree.
Silence is consent.
Welcome to the team, Salo.
Thank you, guys.
We'll get the so if you want to put a note in the meeting notes.
Okay. Oh yeah.
To the readme.
Salo, join member, became some member.
Yeah, I want to thank you so much, Saulo, for the time you put in for the mentorship program.
Thank you, guys.
It's really helpful. Like all these tiny stuff, they make or break the program, and
this is so helpful for me. Is I like so much because it helps me very much build my own confidence in Node and English and all other stuff, you know. So thank you so much. That's it.
Awesome.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, so I guess that's all for this meeting.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you
so much.
Have a nice day or evening. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye. Good
Bye.
weekend for everyone. Bye.
Thanks.